Welcome, everyone, to the NEKO Alpha show, coming to you from Tokyo, bringing you Japan-related NFT alpha and more from the United NEKO Alliance here on the ground in the largest city in all of human history, as we like to say. My name is Reno. I'm here with my co-founders and co-hosts of the United NEKO Alliance, Steve and Neil.
Hey everyone.
Hello, from Steve.
And today we are going to be talking with NEKO, the founder and artist behind Neo-Tokyo PUNKS. Before we do get started with that, though, please remember that anything we say here is not financial advice. Do your own research. This is just our commentary, info sharing, and hopefully a little bit of entertainment as well. So with that, we're going to get right into it, and I'll turn it over to Neil and NEKO-san. Welcome. Let's go ahead and get started.
Yeah, Nico-san, very nice to have you on our show. Welcome.
よろしくお願いします。ニコです。お願いします。
So to start with, can you tell us a bit about your background and how you got started in NFTs?
はい、そうですね、NFT の世界に入ったのは、去年の9月
So
頃。
I joined this NFT journey in September last year, and throughout my time, I generated a lot of collections. The first one was called The Wolf, was about the illustration of wolves as a collection. Then I started doing voxels and so on. And this year at March, we started Neo-Tokyo PUNKS as a project.
What made you decide to do the Neo-Tokyo PUNKS project?
はい、そうですね、きっかけは、もともと。
The reason I started Neo-Tokyo PUNKS was that I want to spread more my community itself. The Wolf collection only had like 100 items and didn't have that much community. So when I searched for the way to expand my community, I found out about generative projects, and at that time it was really famous overseas. So I started Neo-Tokyo PUNKS.
So Nico-san, you started learning about other generative projects and what was going on overseas. Are you involved with any other projects, maybe in Japan or internationally, maybe in their Discords? And were you able to get to know what other projects and what other people were doing around the world?
そうですね、ジェネラティブ、もともと、
So about the generative projects, I was here in the crypto community since before I joined the NFT community. So I knew about generative projects, and when it comes to make one, so we took an example of this project called Divine Anarchy. It's more like a Japanese taste illustration style generative project that is really well detailed and cool taste. And how to make a generative project, it was my first time, and I tried a lot of things, and in that process it came out the Azuki collection. And then seeing the example of how the assets were changing and so on, we decided to go on with the same style with Neo-Tokyo PUNKS.
The Wolf NFTs, I think they were on Polygon. So what made you decide to switch to Ethereum?
まずポリゴンにしたのが、日本で。
So why I started with Polygon, it was because at that time it is as a culture, it is something like a culture to start with Polygon because of those gas fee problems, and that most of Japanese people buy NFTs from Polygon. And so there was this thing like projects overseas use Ethereum and projects from Japan use Polygon. But when I decided to aim for overseas, then I thought that I needed to change up to Ethereum.
So it sounds like you really had an eye on international expansion and community and audience. Would you say that was really a focus and a priority for you as you started? Obviously, switching to ETH is something that it would appeal to the international community.
NFT やり始めた当初から、こ
So, about that, when I started my NFT journey, I already was aiming for overseas because here the market in Japan on NFTs are kind of narrow. So, in order to be really successful, I need to challenge overseas. So, this project of Neo Tokyo Punks, it's about to show them about the Japanese culture with the taste of cyberpunk and Japanese animation taste.
Well, that's really great. Great that you've had that eye for the international community and doing things in a way that will bring the Japanese taste overseas. There's such a big uh, uh, interest in the Japanese taste overseas, and I think this project really does that. So, how maybe talk a little bit about your plans for building your community outside of Japan. There's so many people who like the style. How do you plan to reach out to those people and build a community with people overseas?
そうですね。具体的に海外の
So,
方にどうやって
in
アプロー
terms
チする
of
かっていうのは、
exactly how to
アプロ
reach
ーチするっていう話で、
people overseas, it's still on research. But now one that I want to focus is that
国内で
we want to be the top collection here in Japan because the more
確立する
people
必要
join
がある
us,
と思ってい
the
て、なので、
the famous will get. It eventually will
ナンバーワンの
be on the OpenSea's ranking. So through that, maybe we can reach people's overseas.
でも多分ランキングが上位
And not only that, but in the future, we may be planning to do like
なとは思う
a manga or animations about this wonderful project because overseas people already love this culture about anime and manga.
ことも力入れていこうかなと思っています。
So I think that's really great. I think there's a big desire as well overseas for projects that are legitimate, that feel like they're really Japanese. They're Japanese based. They have Japanese art and have a community. So I think it's a good strategy to not only have that, obviously have that Japanese taste and that sense, but also really be grounded in the market, in the Japanese market. So I think that's a good way to think about it.
あ、ありがとうございます。
So, Nico, let me ask you about your team. Like, how many people do you have working to deliver this project? I've noticed in your Discord, there's some channels talking about the strategy and stuff. So, are those team members or is that community member? It seems like you're, trying to. Are you getting the community very involved with figuring out the future direction of the project?
そうですね。まず、
Okay, so about the core members that started this project, there are 6, including me, and there are others like engineers and community managers and marketers and people that make the stories and other people like people that negotiate about collaborations and marketer supporters and people that are involved in those things about whitelist and so on. So in total, the main people are roughly like 20 people. And about question that we get about the community, so sometimes the the holders that are already here, sometimes they answer those questions. And about the actual collection, whether how we gonna be how are we gonna be delivering it, we discussed it about with the core members whether we are gonna do this collaboration or whether we should put out a sub collection and so on. And currently in our Discord, we are executing this system called guild system. So it's like we they can make a team amongst the holders. So inside the team, they can do it's kind of free what they can do. Whether they can make a team logo amongst the holders or a team NFT within.
So, Nico, what are your thoughts on the Japan NFT scene and how things are developing here in Japan?
そうですね、ネオ東京パンクスは、いわゆる王道という
So,
か、
for example, about our project of Neo Tokyo Punks, and so most of the marketing and the art style was an example from overseas projects. But nowadays, in our country, here in Japan, there's a lot of generative projects that are kind of meme style projects. So there's this project called Very Long Animals, that it's a PFP project of animals that are really long, but they don't exactly have a roadmap or something like that. So just people buying those NFTs and putting as a PFPs and just enjoying it together. And after we launched our project of Neo Tokyo Punks, it pop up a lot of other generative projects here. But since there's not much people that buy those projects here in our country, so it's like everyone wants a piece of that, a slice of that pie. So there's a lot of thing happening, like the floor price coming after the mean price and so on.
Yeah, I think that's a problem. It's in Japan, but it's also overseas. There's a lot of projects, a lot of meme projects, a lot of derivative and fan art projects as well overseas. And you have the same problem. There's a lot of projects chasing the investment that people want to put into NFTs. So I think it's a problem internationally as well. One thing that we know is that certain projects that have a good community and are working hard on keeping to develop that community have been successful compared to other projects. So I guess that is probably the most important thing, and wondering if you've thought about that. I think the Very Long Animals has a good community of people who like it, and it seems like Neo Tokyo Punks as well has a very good community. And your floor price has been quite stable compared to other projects. So is that something you're thinking about, trying to keep that community really developed and strong and growing to battle the floor price issue?
そうですね。コミュニティはもちろん、はい、大事だと思って
I
いて、
totally agree. The matter about that building a strong community is crucial for the success of a project, because not only it brings the hype that we need for the project, but with the good community, the floor price doesn't move that much. So we're trying to build a wonderful community that, of course, the core members is doing what they have to do, and bringing constantly wonderful news like new collaborations and so on to keep the hype of the community. And the crucial thing is to not exactly decide everything inside of community, but leave some blank space so the community itself can do their own stuff and have some free will inside of it.
Yeah, I think that's really important with the current state of things with the crypto market and markets in general and NFTs. I think it's going to be, it might take some time for floor prices to rise, and the projects that have good communities and are really strong and have a good vibe are going to be successful and going to have long-term appeal for people as the market, when the markets go back to where they have been. So I think that's really important.
本当に今、仮想通貨もだいぶ下がって、
So when the market crashes, of course, it's kind of rough for holders too. But when we have a community, so we can keep the hype no matter how rough the market itself is going. So it's really crucial and it's really important to build a community.
So just to follow up on the community question, Nico, like what do you think about the way Japan projects can be more global, but also sort of how can Japan projects sort of be like Japan projects without just trying to do everything the way projects are done outside of Japan?
そうですね、今まで、自分の中で、
So first, my opinion about this project from Japan was that since our quality in the creative plane was already high quality and done right, so I thought that if there was quality, so we of course could reach overseas. But nowadays, this project that has Japanese artists, for example, this project called Vivid, it's not doing that well, even though it has a really high quality art. So what I think is that nowadays we do not only need high quality, but we need something else. I cannot say exactly what is, but I think that is what we need. And as I said prior to these questions, I think an easy way to reach overseas is to be, for example, the number one in the country that you are. And about the uniqueness of the project, to how to be a unique project and reach overseas, it's kind of difficult. But for example, since we have a really high quality programs to create stuff and companies of 3D and people researching for AI, if Japan can have any of those that can compete with overseas, I think that of course it can reach overseas. And it's not a concrete answer, but me myself is trying to experiment a lot of stuff to reach overseas too.
So Nico, just to wrap up, would you like to give a message to your fans in Japanese here, and then also a message to your fans overseas?
まず、ニオ東京パンクスは、やっぱり日本で、最初に一番売れた、
As a project of Neo Tokyo Punks that were first of the generative project that had a success, so we are trying to aim for new stuff to do. We currently cannot say much, but for example, collaborating with companies or joining the metaverse or maybe animations too. So we aim to have this entertainment that it does not stop on the NFT plane. So please stay tuned and let's enjoy Neo Tokyo Punks together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nico. Thank you for joining us today. ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございました。お疲れ様でした。
Well, great. Thank you so much. It was so great talking with Nico and getting that insight into one of the biggest and most important projects that's running here in Japan right now. For the NTP plugs, Neo Tokyo Punks plugs, check the links in the description. You can follow them on Twitter and Discord and all of that. So big thanks once again to Nico. And for us, our plugs are the usual. Of course, this show, every Thursday, we do a live show, the NEKO-ALPHA show, and interviews such as this will be coming out more and more frequently as we get more and more opportunities to speak with some of the most important players in the Japanese NFT and Web3 community. Also, check out our spaces every Tuesday morning. We tweet about that. So follow us on Twitter. Check that out. Of course, subscribe on YouTube. Check that out. Leave us a like and any comments that you might have. Big thanks to Hope-san also for helping us out today. And we will have you should see a nice shout out to him on the screen right now. Follow him on Twitter. Get to know about his projects and his work as well. And I think that's everything. So to my co-founders, co-hosts, you guys have anything else, or can we put a fork in it?
It was amazing having Nico-san on. What a great project he's doing. And it is one of the top projects here in Japan. So really looking forward to watching it grow and being a part of it. So that was great.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm a big fan of the project and looking forward to talking to Nico more in the future. And that's it for tonight.
Excellent. Great. Thanks, everyone. Let's roll the outro.